Testing 1, 2. Hey guys, my name is Emily. No, that is not how you start a YouTube video. Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Emily, and today I decided to take my YouTube channel seriously. Yeah, so I've been totally neglecting my channel, mostly because I don't have content. Like right now, I'm just recording. I'm like, you know what? Let me just wing it. So yeah, let's think of something first and then we'll get started. All right, so I hope I didn't make noise in my mic, sorry. I decided I'm gonna talk about, how life was for me after I moved out of my parents' house. Yes. So I'm just gonna try and cruise through the story because I don't want this to be a long video because the editing is a lot of work. We have a topic. All right, so I moved out of my parents' house for the first time when I was 18. And I'm sure most people are thinking, did your parents allow you to move? What? Well, yes, they did. They had no choice, really. I think also, I wasn't pushing my parents, you're gonna let me move out or anything like that. No, I think my parents know the type of person I am. And for me to decide, the sun has gone down. For me to decide to move out, they knew that they could trust me, all right? So they weren't worried that I'm gonna get into some, trouble. Not like I did or anything. I didn't. When I moved out, well, what was on my mind was, I wasn't thinking about the freedom that came with it. Of course it did come with a lot of freedom. Well, not necessarily, but it did. And that's not what was on my mind when I moved out. When I moved out, I was thinking of independence. That's the main reason why I moved out anyway. Independence. I have to move out, get a job, start working and pay my rent. I just wanted to be independent. It didn't really matter if I had enough to save. I just needed to learn how to survive because at the time, I couldn't go to school or anything like that. And, I kind of just gave up on the whole idea of, going to college or anything. I'm gonna rewind a little bit on how I got my first. It was my second job, but this one had needed me to move and work from wherever. The first job was online, so I didn't have trouble there. I'm gonna make a separate video for that. Definitely gonna do that. Yeah. So how I got the job was, so my brother's friend's sister who was working at the place. I won't mention the place. I don't think I'm allowed to. Am I? I don't know. I don't want to get sued or anything like that. But anyway. So she was working there, and then she told my brother, me, that, people were applying for jobs and that I could go and that I should, take my papers and everything and go for the interviews and everything. So the day she told me, I really wasn't interested. I was looking for a job a year before. I had given up on looking for a job. But yeah, that opportunity came and I wasn't really into it. I wasn't really thinking about it. I'm like, I'm not really feeling, moving out or anything like that or finding a job or whatever, because traveling from Kafue to Lusaka every day would have been expensive and I wouldn't have had enough anyway. So yeah, so I just brushed it off, And she was telling me, oh, people are getting the job, they're, getting interviews and all that stuff. And I just really wasn't into it. So the day after, I just woke up at like 5 in the morning. I did not plan this, guys. I did not plan this. I woke up at like 5 a.m. I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to get a job. You know, I had not, like, interviews were done, you know, like, there was no job for me, okay? But I just woke up and I decided, like, you know what, I'm just gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna take my papers there and then, you know, like, just do what I can. And if I don't get the job, then it's fine. And then I got there, I asked for the director. I don't remember who I asked for, but I asked for somebody, you know, not the manager. I know I didn't ask for the manager. Like it matters. Yeah, so I asked for, well, he was the franchisee. Yeah, this white, weird looking man, scary guy. Well, he didn't look scary necessarily. He just had this really rude face. That's so mean. No, I really loved working for you, I promise. Yeah, I asked for him and then, you know, he came to meet me and he asked me pretty basic questions. What's your name? Where do you live? And I needed to, like, okay, not necessarily lie, but I needed to tell him that, you know, I was living close by. I was living in Kafue, 46 kilometers from Lusaka. How is he gonna give me the job that way? Yeah, so I told him I was living in Marshlands. I'm like, oh, I'm living over there. Okay, I didn't necessarily lie because I told him that I was in Kafue, but I was moving to Marshlands the next week. Yeah, so he didn't ask me scary questions. He didn't even ask for my papers, you guys. He didn't ask for any of that. He was just like, he asked me if I had been a waitress before, if I had done the job before, if I had another job before, or all that stuff. And then he just said, come on Thursday in a blue t-shirt and blue jeans. And I'm like, what? Does that mean I got the job? Yeah. So basically I was a trainee, but still, I mean, I pretty much got the job anyway. So yeah, I needed to start making arrangements for me to move out and everything. And so I told my brother's friend's sister that I had got the job. She's like, oh really, what? You're so lucky. And yeah, that passed. So yeah, I had decided that I was gonna move in with my friend who was at a boarding house. So I thought she would agree to share the rent and like share a bed and everything, but turns out, well, she didn't mention that, but apparently it wasn't allowed. So I needed to make new arrangements. So I stayed with her maybe for like a week, I think. And then my brother's friend's sister, I need to give her a name. What's her name? We're gonna give her a name. Fake name time. We're gonna call her Tanya. I pray I don't say her name by accident. I pray I don't. Tanya. It would be sad if I recorded all this and then find out that it wasn't recording the audio. I'll probably cry. Anyway, so Tanya tells me that she has a house in 6 Miles and, you know, she's looking for somebody to share with. It was just gonna be her and the person. So first of all, I did not know where 6 Miles was. I didn't know that it was actually like really far, okay? And I didn't know that it was gonna cost me that much to travel to work every day, to and from work every day. I had no idea. She didn't tell me any of those details because when I told her I was looking for a place, I told her that I was looking for a place that was, you know, closer to work and wouldn't cost me much. And she's like, yeah, it's close by. Yeah, I travel every day. It's fine. You're going to manage. Me thinking, oh, we have the same job. So if she thinks it's, you know, reasonable, then I guess it is. You know, I trusted her. So, yeah, I told my mom, thank God, you know, my mom paid for my transportation to, like, move my stuff. I didn't even have anything, you guys. All I had was, what did I have? I think I just had, like, a suitcase of clothes. And my mom gave me like these 4 plates that I would talk about later if I decide to make another video. Yeah, so she gave me these 4 plates and I think maybe a pot or something, just small things to start with. But Tanya said that she had, you know, all the kitchen stuff, so I didn't need to worry about that. And I was gonna have my own room. So all I needed was like a mattress. So I a new little mattress, like a single mattress. And I already had bedding, so I didn't have to worry about that. Thank you, Mom. My mom buys a lot of beddings, thank God. Yeah, my mom and I, you know, we get ready and we're moving, right? So we get to town, we're like, yo, where do we go from here? She's like, oh, it's very close by. It's very close by, just keep moving with this road. We moved, you guys, and we paid a lot of money from Coffeeway. We booked a cab, by the way, from Coffeeway to 6 miles. Let me drink some water. This is stressing. Yeah, we paid a lot of money to get there, and you know, where's the money? Did you guys even hear any of that? That doesn't look very bad. I think I can just, yeah, it's fine. It's cool. So then, we're moving, and we're moving, and we're moving, and we're moving. And we're not getting there. She keeps saying, it's close by. Just keep going and find this filling station and blah, 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 blah. You will meet me there. Guys, I was getting stressed because now I'm thinking of how much money I was going to have to spend to get to work. The distance didn't really matter to me. I like sitting on the bus and like just plugging in my headsets. Well, just traveling, you know, in my space. I like that. So I didn't really mind that. My issue was the money I was gonna have to spend, because I mean, I was broke. I was just a trainee, you know, new in Lusaka, no source of income yet, no stable source of income yet, and it was hard to, you know. So then we meet her at this filling station. She's like, we're there, let's keep moving. We're still moving? There's more? I kept my cool. I was just like, you know what? Let me just, you know, it's fine. It's okay. So we keep moving, and we finally get to the place. And, you know, I walk in the house. You know, I didn't, like, necessarily care, you know, what was going on or the arrangement, because, like, the amount of money we were paying was too little anyway. So I wasn't expecting, like, a mansion or, like, paint on the walls and pictures and everything. I wasn't expecting that. You know, I was just looking for a place to stay. That's all I needed. That was what was on my mind. So I walk into the house, and, you know, there's no ceiling, you know. Guys, the difference between ceiling and roof, guys, get that. There was no ceiling. The roof is above the ceiling, so don't get confused, okay? Okay. So there was no ceiling. Didn't have a problem with that. It had a floor, no tiles. Didn't have a problem with that. So I'm at the door. I'm received by this kid. So I'm like, probably just a neighbor's kid. I walk in, and I find Tanya's mom. Oh, it doesn't end there. Tanya's mom, her sister, her brother, her nephew, and another person. There was 5 more people in the house. I didn't know that. But yeah, I just accepted it. I'm like, oh, it's fine. It's cool. Because in my mind, I have my own room. I don't have to interact with them, you know. So I was like, you know, whatever. It's fine. I get my own room. Walk into the room. Well, it wasn't much of a room, but again, I didn't care. I just needed a place to stay at the time. So yeah, I, you know, set my stuff up. I put my little mattress there, my little thingies and plates and everything, and I just, you know, I just settled down. And my mom spent the night. Yeah, I was scared, but yeah, I needed my mom, and I needed to be a big girl. So yeah, whew, the next day comes, and you know, my mom has to go back, and I have to go to work. Now, here's where it just went crazy for me. I needed to wake up at 4 in the morning because it took me like an hour to get ready, and also because there was 2 people getting ready for work in the same time we needed to get ready in the same, amount of time. You boil your water, she boils her water and everything. So yeah, I needed to get up at 4 and I needed to be at the station at 5. And getting to work took me like an hour. A whole hour. Yeah, it took me an hour. But anyway, that aside, I need to get comfortable. God. So, I didn't think about that too much until I calculated how much I needed to pay to get to work and get back home. So I was spending like 30 kwacha every day. 30 kwacha? What? $30 within Lusaka? What? Crazy, right? Right? I'm sure you agree. That is crazy. My first day at work, I was doing my training and everything, so what we were mostly doing was just studying and everything, and just listening to whatever they were saying. I didn't really care. I did care, but like, it was more irritating than anything else, to be honest, because, yeah, I won't mention that. During my training, like, I didn't have too much trouble because, I was sitting most of the time, and sometimes they would release us early. And they also gave us transport money, but it still wasn't like enough. Based on their calculations for our transportation, they were giving us 10 kwacha per day. And I was spending $30 per day. So that was close to nothing. But it was helpful, but it didn't really necessarily help that much. So I was finishing my 70 kwacha in 2 days. And, that's how it was for me, unfortunately. So the first day, I get back home, I'm trying to relax. And there's noise in the house. The children are running around like crazy. And they're just making so much noise. And I like my space. I like silence. You don't hear any kids right now, do you? On top of that, the adults were screaming at the kids, "You're making noise! Shut up! You are making noise! Someone is trying to rest!" That was not helping. I hope they don't watch this. The kids would only fall asleep at midnight. And for me, it's very difficult to fall asleep. It takes me about an hour to like sleep. So they fall asleep at midnight and I'm falling asleep at 1. But here's the catch. I had anxiety at the time because new job, new home, new people I have to deal with every day, new faces, being away from home, not eating the food that I necessarily want to eat, just accepting, whatever, and having to share everything. That was like my biggest issue because when I moved, I thought I was gonna just be with Tanya and I was just gonna be sharing my food with her, but I needed to share my food with like 5 other people. So then I ended up not buying the food that I wanted to eat. I just needed to settle for whatever they were eating. And yeah, that was a problem. I had anxiety. So anxiety would hit me at like 2 a.m. So I'd fall asleep for an hour. 2 a.m. I'm panicking, I'm sweating, I'm crying and everything. For people who know what anxiety is like, they totally understand what I'm talking about. Like, I'm panicking, like it's a serious panic attack. I'm gonna make another video, content, on how to deal with your anxiety. I'm definitely gonna do that, yeah. So I would have anxiety for like a good hour. Because I was already sleepy, so I would like fall asleep while I was crying and panicking and everything. I would wake up, my bed would be like, my mattress would be like there would be like a patch of sweat because I was like, and tears. I was crying and I was sweating and everything. Yeah, I'd fall asleep at 3. And then at 4, my alarm goes off. It's traumatizing to hear that thing. I don't want to hear it. I hate it. I hate it with all my heart. I only slept for like 2 hours. And I was going to be at work for like 10 hours. No, probably more. Yeah, I was maybe 12 hours, 10, somewhere there. I was moving towards the end of my training, so yeah, I was getting more hours at work and I was on my feet more, working more, even if they weren't really paying us. Called it shadowing, but we were doing actual work, but they were not paying us. Well, they paid us half. But still, that was my life every day for about a month, you know. And it got worse because as time went on, as I said, my work became more serious, and I was on my feet from the time I got to work at 6 a.m. until the time I left at 5 p.m. So I was on my feet for like 10 hours a day. I guess Tanya was doing the same thing, but the catch is she was making money and I wasn't, you know, through tips and, you know, her salary as well. Tanya was making more money. It was just difficult working at that place. Just everything. I was being made fun of for the way I speak. Apparently I speak different from everybody, which is true, but what's the big deal? What's wrong? Okay. On top of that, Tanya was also gossiping about me. Just saying a lot of, you know, unnecessary things, which was pretty childish. And, you know, I hear from other people that her mom was complaining about me not being social. As I mentioned earlier, I'm not a social person. I like being in my room. I like my space. And also, like, when I knock off from work, I've been on my feet for 10 hours. I don't want to interact with anybody. What I want is to sleep. I'm not even thinking about food, because on top of that, I'm thinking if I don't sleep now, I'm going to be up because the kids are going to be making noise and I'm going to have my anxiety attack at 2 and I'm just not going to sleep. We were waiting tables and you're getting screamed at and everything, and it was just crazy. So yeah, that was my life for a good month. And then I met with a friend of mine from church, and, you know, they were telling me, oh, I have a boarding house, you know. I'm like, you have a boarding house? Are there any kids there? He said no. And I'm like, yeah, I want to live there. So they were charging 500 kwacha per bed. Fortunately, there was only like 2 of us in the room. And we were the only females. Yeah. So basically what I did was, thank God, I had a phone that I was selling for $2,000, and he said I should just hand him the phone, and I was covered for a good 4 months, and that was a good deal to me. It was a good deal. I move out. Tanya's mom didn't seem happy about it. She really wasn't happy about it. She probably thought it was disrespectful, and I've not seen her since. I haven't spoken to her since that time. Yeah. Anyway, I moved out. You know, I finally kind of had my space, in a way, because my roommate was very nice. Actually, she was very nice. She wasn't in my way. She wasn't making noise. She was just cool, I guess. Well, she was annoying sometimes, but it wasn't anything I couldn't handle. Just the idea of having another person in my space was what I hated. But I had no choice because, you know, I couldn't afford my own space. This could be bad for us. Yeah. So work is going, and then this one time, I don't know who hates me so much that they did that to me. I don't know why they did that to me. That was horrible. So I was put in the night shift. I was working night shift, which was fine. You know, night shift, you know, because, you know, you're working and then you go home and you get to sleep for the day. The whole morning you're asleep, and it just felt like more time on my hands for some reason. I don't know. It just felt better to work in the night shift. Even though I didn't like the people in the night shift because they were pretty much worse than the people in the morning shift, to be honest. Not like they were criminals or anything. I'm just saying that I just couldn't really interact with them. They were very sexual too. And naturally, it just makes me uncomfortable. It puts me off. And I don't like being touched either. No. So I had the night shift this one night, and for some reason, this manager who hates me so much puts me in the morning shift the next day. So technically, I had no time to rest. So my shift at night ended at, well, usually we would like close the shop at 11 and would be cleaning until the managers are satisfied with our work, and then we would like be taken home at like 1, and you would get home at maybe 2, because you had to take other people first. And I was living in Charleston at the time, so we had to take people who lived in Chawama first, and then you come this way, and that takes like a whole hour until I get home, which is at 2. it was fine with me because I thought, hey, I'm resting the next day. But this time, this manager just decides, you know what? Let's punish her for no reason. I don't know what I did. I never got in trouble at work. I never did. But yeah, they decided to put me in the morning shift. But then this happens, right? So we knock off and we're heading home. You know, we take the people in Chalama. And then, like, on our way to my place, they make a turn. This is like a bunch of managers. I think there was like 2 or 3 managers in that car. And we make a turn. So I get confused. I'm like, okay, maybe we're taking somebody else first today. I don't know. It didn't really matter. I on my mind, again, rest. Space, rest. That's all I was thinking about. And I was nervous about, you know, waking up on time the next day. So they make a turn, and then I noticed like that we were heading to a nightclub. They took me to a nightclub when I was supposed to be resting at home. That day, I wasn't taking any beep from anybody. I told them off. I didn't care how old they were because that was very childish of them. It wasn't my problem if they wanted to go to the nightclub. The idea that they're gonna inconvenience me so they can please themselves is just what was just wrong for me. And you know, I'm telling them, like, guys, I'm trying to rest. I have a shift in the morning. I have like 2 hours to sleep. You need to take me home right now. This is crazy. You have no respect. How dare you talk to the manager like that? And I'm just looking at him like, shut up. Please, shut up. I got home at 3. And remember, I said it takes me an hour to sleep. So I fell asleep at, okay, it was 3-ish because I was very tired. But I didn't fall asleep immediately. So I fall asleep, and then I have to wake up at 5 to get ready for work. So I slept for like an hour and a half. I was late for work that day. I remember taking an energy drink before I left home, and I literally fell asleep on the bus. Like, I was dozing. And I'm the type of person who doesn't fall asleep on the trip. Like, I need to make sure I'm seeing everything that's happening. If we die, I need to see how it's gonna happen. Like, there's no way I'm falling asleep. It's really hot. Water. So I was late for work, and I found the franchisee there, and he was furious. He's like, why are you late for work? That's not how he talks, but... And he checked the roster, and I think he noticed that, you know, it was kind of unfair that I was, you know, working like that, but he didn't say much. He was just like, get to work, you know. So I'm like, oh, I'm not in trouble. Because in my mind, I'm like, oh, snap, I'm going to the kitchen to wash dishes. Whew. Oh, I never want to do that. No. I didn't, like, work a double shift since that time. I mean, I'm not working anymore. But yeah, I hadn't done it again. I wasn't getting much money from that job. But I had another job, thank God. So I managed to kind of support myself in a way, but not like fully, because with the other job, my money wasn't monthly. It was commission based. And if I hadn't made sales that time, then I wasn't. And that was the time. No, that wasn't the time. No, not most of it. What? No. I was making money in the beginning, but like after that, like things got a little bit difficult. I don't know why. I might know why, actually. Basically, I was working as an agent for dogs. I was selling dogs, basically, for someone who lives somewhere else. In that industry, it's male-dominated. And you know how that works. When males dominate a certain industry, they think you don't know what you're doing, you know, you're whack and everything. But I was making so many sales that, you know, and my dogs were like, pricier than the typical dogs you would find on, you know, online, like in the platforms I used to sell the dogs. I was making many sales, so people would try and make me look like a scammer and everything. You know, they'd call me names and all that. When I make a post, they would try and... I remember this one guy goes and says, you know, somebody posted a chow chow and I commented on it. I think I was like trying to connect to people. And then he comments under my comment saying, I hope you know that's not a house dog and that it grows bigger than that. He then goes and says, you females, you think you don't know anything about dogs. And that was, okay, it wasn't necessarily offensive, but I just thought it was kind of stupid for him to assume that automatically. Like, what what? And then I went and said, I've been doing this for like a good 4 years, so there's nothing you can tell me. Okay, not those exact words, but in those lines. Yeah. I think I just forgot what I was talking about. This video was directionless anyway, so let's relax. Yeah, so moving out was pretty hectic. It taught me a few things. I didn't necessarily have support because, like, from my family, yeah, I'd rather not say anything about that. Yeah, it's a bad idea. I shouldn't say anything about that. Not in Africa. I got to experience something early in life, and now it won't be difficult for me, you know, because I've learned what I needed to learn. And even if I'm back at my parents' house, I've learned so much, you know. And just looking at the lifestyles that my peers had, you know, because when I've noticed how most people work just, you know, to buy a new wig and a new pair of shoes. Like, people don't necessarily have plans. I mean, yeah, you're living with your parents, but that gives you more leverage to saving money. But people aren't saving. People are going out, drinking, and not like that's a bad thing, just like with no plans for the future. Not like people's ignorance was like my fuel or anything. Just what was going on just gave me that kind of, you know, motivation to keep doing what I was doing and to be strong and to just know what I wanted to do. And I really didn't have any interest in whatever other people were doing. Like, it didn't move me at all. I knew what I was going there for, and I knew what I wanted. Of course, the story gets worse, but I think I will make a part 2 so you guys can follow. Thank you so much for watching. I am so happy I did this. It feels really good. Now the editing. Thank you. Please comment. Go crazy in the comment section. Like, please share, and please subscribe. I'm begging you, please subscribe. Bye.